it is officially the start of spring planting. Today's April 10th, and next 2 weeks are gonna be gorgeous. So we're gonna get everything in the ground. We're gonna first start with soybeans here, and then we're gonna finish up our corn. I wish we would've got these beans in earlier, like a week ago, but we were finishing up a tile project. It probably won't matter in the end. We got some Channel 2-1 beans, and then we got some Pioneer Z-Series beans, 2-1 beans also. And these are going on Spencer's new farm he just bought. There's like 55 acres here. So what's super nice here for planting season is we got the 8320R. That's gonna go on mulch finisher, sprayer, and potentially my neighbor Mark's roller. And then all the 8110 is gonna do is stay on the planter. I don't have to switch that implement at all. That way we can keep focusing on planting. That's gonna be super nice this spring. Having 2 tractors, at this point I have to have 2 tractors to do everything we do in the springtime. I also bought a seed tender. I'll show you guys that. I think I jinxed it though, guys. We got some sprinkles coming down on the first day of planting. I ended up getting this seed tender because I needed something for boxes. So it's a 2-box tender here. So I actually got the seed tender at Nessa, which is actually pretty close to where we farm. They got a lot of different implements there. And it's got actually like a talc/graphite feeder, which is actually pretty nice. We'll have to kind of figure out how that works. Basically, you can fit 2 boxes on here. Everything's hydraulic, so like that, the whole auger tubing unloads hydraulically. It's actually a lot nicer than I thought it was gonna be.
There you go. Yeah, you got it.
Okay, here we go. We are rolling. I wish we would have cleaned off all the tractors, but we don't have water here yet. It's ready to hook up. Me and Spencer just got to trench the water to the shed, pretty much. Spence is rolling out, and then I think Josie's gonna follow him.
There's a couple little leaks on the planter where it folds up on hydraulic hoses, so hopefully none of those break here because they're very long. This is what the field looks like now. We came in a VT this fall. We had permission to do it before. I guess I closed on the land. That is what we got. A little bit of crust going on in bare spots, but like I said, just a little bit. Not a big deal. Planter's gonna go right through that, plant right into this, no problem. Could hit it with our field cultivator, but it's dry. It's warm soils. I think it'll be just fine. The forecast looks good. All right, Grant's doing a quick dry run with the planter. Make sure the GPS is correct and that when you do a pass and come back that the spacing is correct between each pass. There's moisture in the ground at like inch and a half. All we want is 30 inches between this line and that line. Spacing's correct, 30 inches apart. We'll fill it up with a little bit of seed and see where it's going. I think we'll do a good job here. These are our row cleaners that I'm gonna adjust here. They're set to 1. We'll go 1.5. I know they need to go deeper, so we can always adjust it later too. These just push all the residue out of the way, so there's a nice little spot for the seed to go.
Here we go, guys. We're gonna plant for the first time. I'm sure there's something I'm forgetting on the planter right now, but exciting times. We're planting. As long as nothing's broke, should be good. Good to go. I have one row that's not planting, row 7.
Yeah. So row 7 wasn't planting, those seeds were coming down. We undid the plate there, kind of messed with it, and then dropped the row cleaners, and then the seed's going too deep, so we made a few adjustments. right, row 7 is working now. All rows are going just fine. A little too deep, so we adjusted the depth. And this is the job it's doing. You can see it's pushing out some of that residue. I don't think we need to lower them, and I don't think we need to raise them anymore. It's doing a good job here. We'll just randomly check for depth. These little dots here in the soil are the closing wheels. They come back and push the trench closed, so there's soil over the seeds here. There's a bit deeper. Right there is 2 inches. Yeah, it's right at 2 inches. We could probably make an adjustment on that. So now Grant's come in and we're gonna fill that planter completely full and really get going. We made another depth adjustment. We actually lowered it. So we were planting at 2 inches there. We're kind of shooting for 1 3/4, 1 1/2. It's pretty nice. These are really good planting conditions for so early in the year, April 10th. We got a lot of dust coming up. And they say if you plant in the dust, your bins will bust. So good spring, good planting conditions. Last thing you ever want to do is plant when it's way too wet and you kind of mud it in, nothing closes.
So I just finished planting end rows. Spencer's taking over the planter. I'm gonna go hop in the mulch finish and hit some end rows for the field that we're gonna plant tomorrow. So those end rows are done. We got about 1.5 hours of daylight. Super nice having a second tractor to where me and Spencer can both be productive. We are mulch finishing just the end rows here. This is what we call the interstate farm. It's right along the interstate here. I'll show you guys that tomorrow when we're planting it. But I just ripped the end rows because this is some heavy black dirt. This is kind of where all the trucks were loaded. I don't know. Was it worth it to rip just the end rows here? We could mulch finish the whole field here. We vertical tilled in the fall. The residue's all chopped up really nice, and I don't think it matters too much.
We are officially going here, done with the end rows. I've done 2 or 3 passes. We're going east and west right now and just getting kind of through the waterway, tricky spots. I got a suckle right there that a broken towel line I was fixing earlier this morning. This is the square part of the field. Then up there, I'll do tonight, probably finish up when the sun's going down. There's another sinkhole right there. And I'll just leave the planter in the ground because slow it down a bit. It's a little rough patch. We're about to run out of seed in our row units there. Looks pretty good. Pretty happy with it. Grant got a new ATU 200. This is super tight and working good. Last time it would like shake and wave all over the place. Slow down here, throttle back, bumper down a couple, and then we're good. Little update here. We found a rock in the field, and while I was doing that, I checked our boxes, and we probably have 1/3 to 1/4 of seed left. We are out of seed there. So we've done 25 acres of like 46, 47-ish. Sun is about to set and we're rolling. So probably 30 acres down so far. Over halfway. I got a bag here in case I need it, and I think we'll finish this field another bag or two, and there is a, it's like there's a 2x4 right there. We're gonna have to get that on our next pass. Looks like we went over it with the VT there. You can see the marks. The reason why there's 2x4 in the middle of the field is because a tornado about less than a year ago went right down this way through the tree line, would have ran me over. I picked up a bunch of stuff, but I know I was gonna miss some. But that's really all I've seen today, besides that and the rock. So we're getting done with this section of the field. Sun is starting to set there, so we need to keep going. So the wind calmed down, I can actually talk now. We're just pushing away any debris in the way. Not really moving any dirt unless there's like a weird low spot. Or we got a plug in the row unit, so it was dragging. I think either a bunch of mud is caked in here. I gotta clean it out because right now this isn't spinning because I think these blades are pushed out because there's mud in there. So kind of screwed up that. I went like quarter way down the field and caught it. Wish we would have caught it a little earlier, but not a huge deal. All right, we should have it fixed here. Got it all cleaned out. There's no mud in there, so we'll give it a shot. Spinning, it's spinning. Just fine. Come on. All right, it should clean itself pretty good here. That killed an hour messing around with that, but we got 15 acres left. Here we go, my last little end row. We are done with the field right there. Worked down the seed as good as I could. We're pretty much empty there, and we are done with the field. Well, it's the next morning now. We got the field finished last night. Pretty much everything went good besides that one row unit that was plugging up. Just got some mud in the disc openers and they weren't spinning. Not a big deal. So now I got to get this folded in and then we'll take it back to the shed, empty it out, get these early maturing beans out because a new variety of beans will go in to plant Grant's field. Now, before we get started on our next field, TerraClear came out this morning, and it's a service that uses a drone to detect rocks in your field, and then they come in and can pick them for you with a really fancy skid steer.
Okay guys, so this is pretty cool. We got TerraClear out here, and they're gonna be picking rocks on 3 of my farms. So how TerraClear works is they go and fly this with a drone, and then it scouts all the rocks out there, and it shows the size. Will's gonna pick them here, and Will has a whole map on his skid steer wheel, see all the rocks, go and pick them. So we've got 3 different farms. There's probably like 400 or 500 rocks total across the 3 different farms. Will said even between moving farms, it'll take him about 4 hours to pick all these rocks here. Yeah, we'll kind of see how this works. Pretty darn cool stuff. I actually went to college with Will for 4 years at Iowa State. And so you're basically the service provider for TerraClear.
Yep, in central Iowa here. So
Okay.
there's other service providers across the Midwest, but
And TerraClear goes across the United States or just Midwest?
mostly in the Midwest
Okay.
right now, but they're actually based out of Washington, Idaho. So
Gotcha. You
But-
use that for small rocks and then you'll use the bucket for big rocks? Or can that...
this will pick up spring loaded. So it just hooks onto a rock and opens up.
Okay.
But basically, as far as this thing will open, is as big of a rock as it can pick up.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
it can pick up like a 30-inch rock.
Okay, wow.
That's pretty impressive. I don't think this thing is anyway. All right, so we're in the app here. Select Grant's field. Brings me to this order. You can see all the rocks in there. Tells me my estimated pick time, how many rocks, how many acres. So all these dots are where the rocks are. And then this little gray line is the suggested route to give me the most efficient path through the field. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. That top belt right on the top of the rock. And then you turn your reels on and it sucks the rock in. Pick it up. And then come around the other side. It's already pointing out of the ground. I can't get it this way. I come in here and click on that dot, it shows up the image that the drone took. It tells me what size the rock should be, and this one happens to be a dirt clod, so I'm going to come in here and select it as not a rock, and that will help teach the AI software. Tight quarters and I don't want to turn on a dime and rip up the ground, I can just move my reel back and forth.
Now we're at one of the rented farms, and this is a farm that I ripped, and there was a lot of rocks when I was running the ripper. And so this, like 80 acres, has like over 200 rocks here that Will's gonna pick here. And we also have Travis with TerraClear here also. So Will was running the old one, and then the new one, now we got the new one on this farm basically.
Yep. We were running the old TC80 before, but now we're bringing out the TC100 for this field.
And this, you guys just released this model when?
Yep, this one just came out this spring. It's about 20 inches wider. It's a double arm style. Made more of a industrial grade picker here.
Travis has actually helped me a lot with my ATU. He knows all about them, so yeah, he gave me some guidance on the ATU right before this, so we were working on that. So Travis just goes on the app and he can pull up, and
so you can see the rock there, 18.2 inches, and here we are standing on it right now, and you know it's pretty darn close to it.
Yeah, which is pretty crazy to have it. How long did it take to fly with the drone?
This field here, this probably took about an hour and a half.
Hour and a half to fly with the drone?
Yeah.
How long is it going to take to pick? Estimated pick time?
We're at 1.4 hours.
1.4 for like 200 plus rocks?
Yeah, we're at 232 rocks on 77 acres.
Gotcha. Plans have changed. We had a field ready to plant, we call the Interstate Farm, but that has like 7 acres that's owned by the substation company, and they have survey stakes all over 7 acres of like the 55 acres there. And so I'm trying to make some calls around, trying to figure out, do I need to plant that 7 acres, pull the stakes, plant that 7 acres, or not plant that 7 acres? Kind of weird thing that just happened last minute. What we're gonna do is we're gonna just head to a different farm that I ripped last year. We're gonna level that off. That's gonna go to beans, because my goal is to just get all the beans done and then just focus on corn here while the soil temps are still warming up. Beans can go in worse soil conditions and colder soil conditions than corn can from an emergent standpoint. So that's kind of the plan. Hopefully we get some calls around and kind of figure out that on that other farm, but we got one more bean farm, or 2 more bean farms, one of them that's ready to go as soon as we get that ground leveled off. So things change, plans adjust, and just kind of working around it. Spencer and Josie are currently grabbing the planter. We planned until, we kind of planned late last night till like 10 o'clock. So they're grabbing the planter and they're gonna empty out. We got 2 1 beans, and I don't know, usually I'm a person that will just, okay, let's just throw those in the next field, but 2 1 and 3 2 beans don't mix together in the same field. So we're gonna empty them out, throw them in a pro box.
And then we're putting on some 2 6 beans for Grant's field that he's cultivating right now. So we'll get this loaded up and head his way here.
Working up good, but it doesn't leave it that level. This is pretty rough ground. I thought the Ripper did a better job leveling it off, but it's still pretty rough. So we'll see how this plants, but I way rather like planting beans into fall V&T corn stalks, no spring tillage. This is kind of some of the black, heavier ground here. When you get to some lighter dirt, you got a lot more dust, but
And then I got the planter and seed tender dropped off. It doesn't get any better than this. There is 0 mile an hour wind right now. Yesterday was windy, brought some cold temps. It's probably, I don't know, 45, 50 degrees today. And then I'll swap with him, and I think he's gonna start planting here. We got a rock stuck in the gangs. I don't have prepper on me, so. Might be able to get it. All right, so you're probably wondering, why are there rocks in our field if we had TerraClear, the skid steer thing, come out here and pick them? Well, they got like halfway done with the field and had to run and go to another field, somebody else's field. So that's why there's still rocks out here. I can't remember how many rocks there were on this field, but they should have got half of them, I think. And I think they're gonna be back like this weekend to pick the rest up if we don't plant this field by then. I got kicked out of the main seat. We've been coaching her, teaching her how to run it. This was Josie's first time ever running this tractor. We are in the end of the field, it's actually kind of the trickiest part of the field, and I'm not the best teacher.
You like to take over the wheel. A lot to think about, that's for sure.
All right, Josie's getting lined up.
Turn it on, the auto. Oh,
You're off a little bit.
off.
Get her in the ground.
Got her in the ground.
You got her in the ground a little late, that's all right.
That's okay.
We'll clean up any mistakes on the end rows.
That end is a little more stressful with the waterway because you have to think about lifting it up, putting it down, and switching gears and all that crazy stuff. I drove the 8110 one time, probably one time last season, and I really don't remember a lot about it. So like all of the controls are just very new to me.
A
Little off
Yeah.
that time.
Get ready to go with We're a little late to put it in the ground, but we can come back. We'll come back and clean up that row. Grant's parked right there with the tractor. He is getting ready to fill that with seed, and we're gonna get to plant in this field. And then that right there is 6 acres. That's a test plot. So this part will be done. Grant can plant this, and we can still be working in the same field.
They lift up too early.
That's a good one. Swing real tight here, as tight as you can.
And then our
Kind of always look at your fence and make
Yep.
sure it's good.
fence is good.
Hey, Josie did a really good job there. I give her actually like an 8 or 9 out of 10. She picked up pretty quick.
Okay, so Spence is finishing up field cultivating in the distance there, and we're gonna start planting here. So me and Josie, we're gonna load the seed tender up. Got 80 acres, actually probably like 70, and then we got a bean trial plot, just a bean variety plot, going on this like little separate 5-acre field that's a part of the farm. It's like a perfect spot to run trials because it's kind of a lighter dirt. There's not a wet spot on it, and so it should be pretty consistent across it for trials. So we'll probably do that tomorrow morning though. There's no way we'll get it all done, a plot in tonight also.
All right, this is the first pass here, and we got Josie digging. Sun's peeking out though for this afternoon. It was cloudy this morning.
We're at like 1 3/4.
Which is perfect.
1 3/4.
Maybe a little deeper. 2 inches is better because we field cultivated this field just, you know, probably went over this area 3 or 4 hours ago. So it's going to settle a little bit because there's air in the soil and it'll settle down. On corn, you probably maybe want to factor that in if you plant right after field cultivating.
Little update, got all the end rows done, starting on the long rows. I think these are like half-mile long rows. These are working good. The one that I noticed in ripped ground, auto steer doesn't work better because the ground's so soft that it's following like field cultivator lines, and we field cultivated a 2-degree angle off this. So that's one thing I noticed, you get a little more squiggly and walking of the steering. It's one of those things where like for a week when the beans pop up, you can tell it's not perfectly straight, but then after that, it's good. I've spent too much mental energy trying to perfect auto steer units in my life that I'm like, there may be a week where it looks just a little squiggly, but it's good. So we're planting 130, 135 for population here. Seems about perfect for Spencer's. We pushed it a little lower, like 120, 125, but this should be good. This is conventional till 2, so we should maybe have a little bit better stand. Overall for beans, I much rather prefer one fall VT pass sale seed bed than ripping the ground and then coming back and field cultivating it. It's too much for beans unless you got like a really, really heavy black soil or something like that, but I don't know.
Now, while Grant was knocking out some acres, I prepped this 5-acre plot for tomorrow morning. We're putting in a small soybean trial here. I think of just some different varieties. And while going, a neighbor's dog stopped by and he stole my seat out of the tractor. I found a rock that I dug up, and I think I also found my limit on how big of a rock I can lift up. All right, here's what broke. I'm not sure when in the field. We're done now, but I gotta bring this home, and it needs to be sitting up like that. Bolt broke right there, and then it's starting to bend and crack, so I might rob it off this small section, a bolt, just to get it home here. Hit it, there you go. There you go. Ready? We got the hair off the ground. That's all we were trying to do. We have like 3-4 miles home, not a long drive. And then we'll get a new bolt for this other side here. The planter's empty after filling it first time. All right, Grant's gonna go for the night here. He's got the planter full. He'll go till it's empty, and then we'll be back in the morning.
Okay, so it's the next day now, and I was planting last night. It's probably like 9 o'clock, and I had the shear bolt break on me for the drive wheel. Everything looks good, so I put another shear bolt in this morning. I didn't have one last night, so we're keeping planting. We're gonna get this thing filled off. We got 10 acres left, and then we got like a little 5-acre separate kind of field to this farm that's outlined by like grass waterway. And I thought this is the perfect part of the farm to plant a bean plot. So we got some channel, some pioneer numbers, varieties going in on this bean plot. And I'm just really curious how different varieties stack up, what variety, what maturity ends up being the best for this year. And so why not toss it in this and, I don't know, kind of figure it out. I wish we would have had more varieties lined up for this bean plot. That is kind of on me. On the corn plot, we've got a bunch of different hybrids going on the corn plot. So we got the corn plot a little better than the bean plot this year.
Grant got done planting this whole field, and now we're just doing like a 2-acre plot. Nice part is this field has this grass spot. There won't be any end rows. We'll drop it down and go, but it'll be nice. There'll be rows in the summer going this way. You can just walk right by and see it all. All we're doing is going halfway down this little field, and then we'll vacuum out each box and put new variety in.
Okay guys, a little update from the cab. And so we got them all striped here in the monitor, and this is like the perfect little plot because with 20K seed bags, 6 rows, it's just about perfect to make it to the end here.
Here we're looking at planting depth. So if we get down and we actually look, right, we're thinking about our row cleaners, how we're everything they moved. We're double checking depth. So if we're looking at this, we see with the seed here, right? We got a pretty treated soybean. We're sitting right at, oh, we're gonna say 2 inches, right? So we're sitting at 1.5 to 2 inches, kind of depending. You know, soybeans are gonna move a little bit as your row cleaners move, but that's how we're digging up the trenches, just to see where our soybeans are seated at, if we're getting to planted depth. Then we're looking down the row, and then we're looking at how everything's closing, our row cleaners, everything's working good. Conditions are great. So we're set up great for this plot. Looking forward to seeing the results.
This farm is done, the plot is done. Every time I get done doing a plot, I always feel like I overcomplicate the whole field overall. But that's kind of how it is. You end up with a plot, a bunch of random seed bags, a bunch of random seed kind of all over the place, it seems like. And it takes more time, but hopefully we'll learn something from it. So now we're headed to the interstate farm, and there's 7 acres that has always been farmed in the past the same way, and there's survey stakes all over it. And I've been trying to contact the company, trying to talk to somebody from the company that owns the ground, and like, it's impossible to talk to somebody. So I'm just gonna plant what's my landlord's ground, and then we'll come back and the 7 acres, if I end up finding somebody to talk to from the company, I'll come back and plant that later with like just an earlier maturity bean or something. But yeah, I have like a 15-mile drive over to this farm, and so far I've seen 6 tractors, 6 people out in the field halfway. So 1 tractor per mile so far is what I'm seeing. Update, we are rolling. Got the end rows done, and this is a super nice farm the way it farms. This is my first year farming it. Boy, it farms beautiful. Like, end rows are nice. It's not perfectly square, but I don't know. I like the way it lays, like the way it farms. Everything's working good. This ATU 300 is hands down amazing compared to the 200. Night and day difference. When you get in the soft ground, none of these steering units work good, but when you get in hard ground like this, it works amazing. After 5 years of planting now, I still have yet to figure out how to perfect a 12-row planter turn. It feels like every spring I have to relearn how to make a 12-row planter turn. 16 rows are easy as heck. You just whip the wheel around and go. 12 rows, I'm always trying to remember, do I hit the brake? Do I swing wide or do I swing tight? And boy, sometimes it's a little challenging getting that down. We're on the last pass of soybeans here, and it's right next to the interstate. And this is where row shutoffs would be super nice, because there's no way I'm leaving that little gap there, but we're gonna overlap like 10 or 12 rows here. Kind of sucks, but I don't want a gap here, so we're filling it in. A little embarrassing right along the interstate. We should be fine. There we go. We are done with soybeans. We are done with soybeans. Nice. Okay guys, we finished beans, got all the beans done, and now we're going on to corn. Soil conditions were a little colder, maybe not as dry, and so I was like, let's knock out these beans, let's get them in early. Seems like proven, get your beans in early. There's there's a potential yield potential there versus corn. I'd rather wait a little longer, warmer soil conditions, and get that in better conditions. One thing, in 2021, when I first started farming, I was like at John Deere. Right before I started planting, I was at John Deere. Everybody in line was complaining about how dry soil was, and everybody's heard this, but this guy's like, you know, plant in the dust and the bins will bust. And every year we've planted when it's like super dry conditions. I think of 2021, 2023, and 2024 was it was a little wetter. It wasn't an amazing crop, but 2025 we're planting in dry conditions now. Every year we plant in dry conditions. We always have like a really good crop, it seems like. So super excited. Couldn't ask for better conditions, and yeah, we're gonna get on to planting some corn here. That'll be next video though. So thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.